Now I continue with, I'm going to continue reading from my second book. Like I said, I will just be reading. I may not read them accordingly. I may just pick sections by sections, or I may decide to finish one chapter and skip to another chapter. But whatever the case may be, I just want to share some of this. And yeah, so today I'm just going to take a reading about some of the things that have really troubled my mind over the past 2 years. And although now I manage it better, I see, I observe, but I turn away and I don't let it bother me. But then it's something I think I would like to share. You know, maybe there's someone else who also have experienced the same thing. I don't know, but anyway, I read. Of course, from the book, the title is Reflections, Tales of Betrayed Loyalists, a rhetorical question that may never be answered, by me, Vivian Afrime Wilcox. And I am married with 3 children. So that's it. And today I'm looking at reflections on sceneries that have greatly troubled my mind. And I'm just going to read it as it is. Waking up at the early hours of this morning, I looked through my bedroom window to the now familiar but still very troubling vehicles lined up on the other side of the streets, a scenery which commenced in May 2023. Often seeing these vehicles, which somewhat tend to have patterns in times they show up, usually at certain days of the week, for example, Tuesday evenings, Friday evenings, and some mornings at alternate times, have greatly troubled my mind as it leaves me quite shaken and unsettled, trying to figure out why this prolonged silent intrusion into my life, a scenery which has greatly traumatized me. Mentally and psychologically, leaving unseen scars I pray will one day fade away. And like I said, I'm so thankful to God that the healing, the mental and psychological healing, it's getting better as the year progresses. It's going to 2 years now since I've been going through these traumatic experiences. But as you can see, I am getting back my normal self, and I'm really thankful to God for that. It has been 2 whole years of mental and psychological torture. Today again, I find myself asking why I keep enduring, but without saying, I already know the answers to my questions. My children. Yes, my children are the reason it is hard to let go and away from the things and situations that have so greatly hurt me deeply and continuously here in Ireland. I don't know what it is. Now, this is me talking. It is not in the book. I don't know what it is, but I just keep pushing, you know. I've heard stories of women probably have had some challenges and they can't take it anymore and they pack their things and they leave. But my children are still in school and I want them to continue their education and I want them to graduate. The thing that breaks my heart as I'm here now really is my firstborn child. School is in session as we speak, but you know, he's just in a troubled state. The link for payment is not open, so we can pay his school fees. At least if it was open and you know the work is online, he can engage from home. But now, you know, the link is not live. He can't pay his school fees. He can't access his timetable, and I just don't know. And he's gone through so much psychologically that you know, it's just so hard for him to engage. And anyway, I'll continue with the reading. Yes, my children are the reason it is hard to let go and away from the things and situations that have so greatly hurt me deeply and continuously. Reminding myself of my personal goals of thriving through past traumas and negativities, I brought out my gym clothes, of course, got ready, and straight into my much loved red car, which that one has its own story anyway, and which in recent months seems to be a major contributor of additional external generated traumas. For some reasons, I can't shake off this feeling that there's a link between driving my current red car and me not being gainfully employed. I may be wrong, but it is just a strong feeling that will not just go away. Like me driving that car is like a taboo, for me to drive my car. And as long as I keep driving that car, I should not drive a car to work. I don't know. I really do not know. But I sense that there's something wrong somewhere. I can't prove it, but that's just the very strong perception I have. That's what it seems to me. It's a feeling that will not just go away. I find myself again pondering over the fight against external pressure through unsolicited junk mails and junk pop-up messages, always appearing on one or two of my phones, which I use on a regular basis. I have lost so much and fought so much to resolve the challenging issues around my suspicions of possible impersonation, which I observed almost 2 years ago. An online battle which appears like it was never going to end. This, however, was finally resolved after having the courage to break out of the online world and the online inquiries to pursue the situation in person. Yes, and that was November 2024. I was in the UK. That was the period I was really pursuing development, and I got into the first aid course with skills training. It was around that period that I discovered this impersonation, and they tried holding me online, and I said, no, I'm going to come back in person. The good thing is I was able to fight that, but eventually, after fighting it, and then there was a job seekers benefit, which they said someone who has been collecting and stopped in May, and then they started paying it to me, and of course they also stopped it. And then as long as I'm, my husband does not declare everything he has, there's nothing for me as long as I keep saying I'm married. So, but my husband doesn't live here. He lives here ordinarily. So it's been on record. I never lied about that. He comes, he sees the children, visits us, stays with us for a while, and he goes. And that's how we've been living. It's been 9 years. And I do not understand why I will be kicked out of work and denied any support, in quotes, that probably would have been given to me just because you need me to declare that I'm single. And even if I'm professionally placed on a single pension profile, that doesn't mean that I cannot work. That doesn't mean that I cannot work, because I've asked questions and people said yes. I know one or two people say yes, they are on that single person profile, but they are still married to their husbands as I speak. So why should my case be different? Why do they want to break my family? Why should I leave my husband? Why should my family be destroyed because I want a professional life? These are questions, that I still hope one day, maybe one day, just maybe one day, there'll be an answer. So I'm going to stop for that for now, and then I'll do another one later.